All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of The Sportsmen. As always, Mikey V, Joey D, myself, Ticket. And today we've got a very special guest. We had one on about a month ago. We had Mr. Cormac Ryan, and another fun one today. We all know we don't talk enough hockey on this show, so we decided that we will change that and invite one what is he? He's a right winger. Right winger for the Las Vegas Golden Knights, none other than Mr. Mark Stone himself.
Yeah, the captain of the Stanley Cup champion Vegas Golden Knights. This is a fun one for me. Mark and I are pretty tight. Listen, he follows the Brilliantly Dumb show. He watches The Sportsman. He's a very avid follower of everything we do. So exciting to bring him on, talk some hockey, salt of the earth kind of guy, and fellow Canadian. So happy to have him on. Mikey, you're gonna love Mark. You're gonna love him.
I'm sure. No. I mean, I've done some extensive research on Mark's career, and what a career it's been.
Yeah, he's been
in the league a long time. I didn't know he was in the league this long. He's been in the league, what, 15 years, 14 years almost, something like that?
Yeah,
I think his first year was 2015.
He was
drafted in 2010, and then he was back and forth from like WHL, and then, a lot of these guys will have stints in the NHL where they play several games, but they're not full on. His first full season, I think, was 2015 with Ottawa, and he had a sensational season. He was
rookie of the year or something.
Yeah, he really was.
Yeah.
Well, here we are, Mr. Mark Stone. Let's give it up for Mr. Mark Stone.
Let's bring him on
audio. Let's
there we go
until we get to the audio.
There he is.
There he is.
Hey,
wow.
There it is. What's up? Sorry,
Mark. What's up, man?
Quite some time. What's
good to have you, man. The hair's looking good too. You got the flow going.
It's got to be a Canadian thing with this hair, man.
Yeah,
it's got to just
thin
be
up there, so
hey,
a little thin.
Hey.
Could be worse, pal. Could be worse. Count your blessings.
I'm a little worried though to cut it,
Everyone knows Canadians and hockey players have the best hair. It's just
they've
always got the lettuce flowing in the back. I'm trying to do it myself, and I don't think it's working out so great. But you guys, Joe, you, Mark, look great.
Yeah, it's a big deal, when you get up for warm up, you can take the helmet off, and the fans love it. It's like best part of the game sometimes. Is the warm-up.
Tick, I'd love to see you like just in a warm up, just like skating around the hash marks, the hair just blowing as you shoot a wrist shot in the empty net.
Shoot a wrist shot, dude. I can't even skate. I can't. I'm holding the wall, dude. I'm hugging the wall. I've tried a couple times, can't do it.
That's half the battle, being able to skate.
Some would say.
Well, Joey D's one skater himself too. I mean, you played hockey up in Vancouver, and that's sort of where you got your roots.
Yeah, played hockey for a while. I haven't touched the ice in fucking years, man. I would be horrible. Bob has suggested in the past, and something maybe to think about, for a Bob Does Sports, episode, maybe us going to Vegas and getting Mark and Jack and the boys to shoot on me. It would be problematic, though.
I would love that.
Could you imagine that? I would pull a groin or something. I'm so not in hockey shape, man. But I used to love getting on the ice, man. And I'm a little off already, so being a goalie, it adds up.
Definitely adds up. Goalies are they're a different animal. You're willing to stand in front of 100-mile-an-hour slap shots. It's odd. It's odd for sure. Never met a normal one, I don't think.
Yeah,
that's interesting. That's interesting. Is it like the dynamic between like I don't know. I would say that the goalie position, is different. I'm trying to think of like the football equivalent of a goalie. Maybe the long snapper. No. Because
I almost think it's like kickers, man. The field goal kickers.
I feel like the goalie sees so much more action than the field goal kicker does. Yeah, the field goal kicker comes on. It's critical moments. We know that, but the goalie's just hockey moves so fast. And from somebody who doesn't really have a dedicated team in hockey, myself, I'm speaking about. To watch it, and especially to bet it, which is what I really like to do. To bet an over-under in hockey is one of the more exhilarating sports gambling experiences you can have because of how fast you guys move up and down. So I really don't even know what the football equivalent to a goalie would be. I don't know if there is one. I mean, Mark, maybe do you think it's kicker?
Kicker, maybe, yeah.
I think the thing with the kicker is the kicker never like. Do you know? Like they don't really talk about the big kicks, right? It's like, well, the New England Patriots won. Tom Brady was the MVP, but the field goal kicker is the one that kicked the game-winning field goal. It's kind of like the goalie, right? If the
Yeah, unless
goalie
you're
if the goalie messes
Vinatieri
up,
or
right?
yeah.
I would
Goalie
say the
messes
thing
up,
about
it's
the
a big deal.
goalie is no one understands the goalie, but everyone respects the goalie because they know how vital you are to the team. But goalies are always a little bit off, but I feel like the players will always like kind of give them their space. Like at least that was my experience. Like everybody respects, and if anybody fucking touches you, like they're done. They're done. Like they're getting steamrolled. So that's a good feeling.
Yeah, it's different because like they have their own coach. We have a goalie coach specifically for two guys. You know, it's
That's
like make sure the goalie's mind is good. Make sure the goalie's feeling good. In warm up, don't dare shoot a puck at the goalie's head. Don't score on the goalie in warm up. Make him feel good going into the game. It's a lot of it's a mental thing for half the battle with the goalies, you know.
Yeah,
But
I think goalies are just I just feel like if you're a great goalie and like listen, I'm from Jersey, so I grew up around, Marty Brodeur
One of the best ever.
and even Henrik for the Rangers there for a while.
Lundqvist, yeah.
Yeah, so I feel like they're just so much more respected than kickers are. Like that's the only thing. Like
yeah, for sure, they're way more important.
Yeah, they are. And that's not a knock on kickers. It's not, but I mean, you got some goalies who have legendary status in the sport, I feel like, especially around here.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I don't know much about the kicking position. I don't know if there's there's that many Hall of Fame kickers, but there's a lot of Hall of Fame goalies.
Right. And there's not a lot of Hall of Fame kickers. In fact, I think there's only one. I could be wrong. So
don't goalies as well typically end up being like, you wouldn't think it because they spend most of the time in the crease, but don't they end up actually being some of the best skaters on the team?
Yeah.
Is that false?
It's a different style of skating.
Yeah.
You're doing a lot of lateral movements, a lot of back and forth. A goalie's not going to take, a forward in, a forward skate and beat him off, but it's a different movement. It's a totally different movement, but you have to be a good skater. Yeah.
They usually squat the most. They're usually the strongest guys with their legs.
Yeah. Back in the day, they used to throw the worst skater into the net because they just say, put him in the goalie and, the guy can't fucking skate. We'll just throw him on there. I like to think, when I was growing up, I was actually, was a novice before I started playing goalie. I was actually a defenseman. I was a captain of the team. So I was a decent skater. Sure. Now, not so much. Not so much. Now.
Then you realize you had to screw loose and in the goal you went.
Yeah. You know what? My dad was a goalie. Once I got in there, it was like I felt like I was at home. So,
Mark, do you live out in Vegas?
I leave once a season. Once the season's over, whether we win, whether we miss the playoffs or whatever, I go back to Canada. It just gets too hot, so it's kind of best of both worlds. Kind of leave as it's getting too hot and come back as it's starting to cool down.
How is it during in season, like distraction wise? Now I don't want any particulars. I'm not trying to get anybody in trouble, but like playing now it seems like across all the major sports, and now you got the Oakland Athletics in baseball. Now they're going to be moving out to Vegas as well. You got the Raiders obviously in Vegas. You guys are in Vegas. Like Vegas is becoming or trying to become like this big sports city now. And I just wondered, like, as a professional athlete, and obviously a younger professional athlete, when you first started, I know you were drafted by Ottawa, but when you came over to Vegas, like, what is that like in terms of like, if you're a young guy and you're single, and I know you have a daughter, if I'm not mistaken, so congratulations. I'm the only person here that can identify with that. That's a challenge. That's a challenge in and of itself. But like prior to that, the distraction stuff, like if you're a single guy or, you just have a girlfriend, like how difficult is it to keep focused in a city like Las Vegas? That's really much like New York, a city that doesn't really sleep. That's a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week city.
For sure. I mean, when I got traded here, the way it kind of works is I got traded at the deadline. So it's like, okay, I'm going to be they're going to put me up in a hotel, and I mean, I had no clue.
You're going to stay at the Bellagio, and
I was kind of thought, right? Where am I going? The Cosmo, my Stan Am gym. I had no clue.
That's good.
And then our manager picked me up at the airport, and kind of just showed me, toured the city, and I end up staying. I know you guys, or Joe, I think you've been there, Red Rock, right across from the practice facility, but you still don't get away from it, right? There's casinos in every hotel. Obviously sports gambling has become so big, but we have like a pretty normal life. You kind of drive through the city. There's golf courses everywhere, but we have the best of both worlds too, right? If I want to go down to the strip and enjoy, one of the best meals I'm going to have, if I want to go play blackjack with some of the guys, you can do that. If you want to go do top end shopping, you can go down there and valet your car and be at there in 5 minutes. So, but yeah, we're off strip. We're about 20 minutes off strip, and but when I first got here, I know the first year I wasn't a part of the first year, and those boys were they were going out pretty good. They were taking advantage of kind of the Cinderella story. They were winning, then heading out, and even I played here as a visiting team. It's like, where are we doing our rookie party? It's like Vegas. Why wouldn't we? It's like
Matt Perez actually had a funny. He told us the first year that the Golden Knights were in season, him and his friend came up with this theory that he was looking, if a team didn't play like the day before and they had a full night to stay in Vegas before the game, he would bet the Knights. And he said he had like an 80% winning record that first year. He said it was the best bet going in sports. So I find that funny because it seems kind of like that was the case. Everybody would go down there a day early and get after it. And, the Knights had such a great season. And I will say this, that when you guys won the Stanley Cup, which congratulations, by the way, captain of the Stanley Cup champion, awesome. I can't even imagine growing up in Canada. That's the dream of every friggin' kid in all of Canada. But I can't imagine that winning the Stanley Cup and being in Vegas is got to be the perfect storm on so many fronts. Like that had to be unbelievable.
Yeah, it was unreal. I think, God, I get my day. I know it was on the 13th of June. I don't know exactly what the day was, but going into the day, you're kind of thinking like, do we have to plan something? Or like, we were pretty confident we were going to win game 5, but we were kind of thinking like, I don't know. Are we the ones that are supposed to set something up, or is the team going to set something up, or is it just going to fall into our lap? And we won the game. We were able to celebrate in the locker room, which was, to me personally, the most fun we had in the night. You kind of just unwind, champagne flowing, that's what's special about our trophy, right? Fill the cup up with alcohol. Everybody's just drinking and whatever you can get in there.
Sports.
Then we had the team had us set up for just the families and whoever wanted to come, basically in the organization at God, I don't even know what it's called. Whatever the nightclub in the area was, it was closed for the night, but they opened up for us, and then we finished at Caesars, maybe.
Omnia,
yeah, with a bunch of guys.
Yeah, it's a good spot.
Pitchers holding up the cup behind the DJ booth. I think it was Aoki that night. He's always been a big promoter of the Knights. That's what's crazy is, 50 Cent rang our siren the night before the opening puck drop, and it's kind of, I know a lot of fans were like, wow, once 50 was ringing the siren, the game was over,
Yeah. A couple years ago, Bob ran the siren. I just think half the stadium didn't know who the fuck he was.
Yeah, they were probably probably not. 50, Bob to 50 Cent. That's
no, that was a playoff run. That was the Stanley Cup playoff run. But I one of the cool things I will say is we have become very close with the Knights, and Jack was the first guy that we knew before getting connected with you, Mark, and Gordon, who runs your guys' socials, is the best. He's awesome. And so like one of the coolest things is when you guys won last year, is kind of before we had started talking and it had kind of established a friendship. And Gordon he FaceTimed me, and he'd sent me a video in the locker room after winning the Stanley Cup with Shea Theodore, and they were just pounding beers and saying cutsy and shit. I felt like I was there, and it was absolutely pandemonium. It was unbelievable. It's just I got to ask you, like, growing up as a Canadian kid and playing hockey, and like that's the ultimate goal, and like people don't understand, especially here in the States, just like the grind that playoff hockey is and how tough it is to win. What did it feel like when you guys won? And you had a sensational game, I think, in that game 5. You scored a hat trick, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. And like, what is the feelings that's going through your head as you're the captain, you're the first guy on the ice to hoist the cup?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's pretty anticlimactic. Is that the word? Anticlimactic.
I would say so.
I think we were 6-1 going into the third. That was actually probably the toughest thing. Was we had a what was it, 18-minute intermission. We're all kind of laughing in the room. It's like, well, we're gonna win, and if we don't, it's gonna be the biggest bed shit of all time. So we better at least be dialed in to go out there for a period. And yeah, it's for sure. It's like our Super Bowl, right? I didn't grow up an NFL. Well, I shouldn't say not an NFL fan, but I dreamed of all I wanted to do was win the Stanley Cup, right? When you're a kid, that's kind of the dream. As you get older, obviously, you look at pro sports as a way to make a living, but there's still in the back of your mind, all you want to do is win. And those runs are insane. You're playing every second night. It's the most fun. You play. Then the next day you watch the other series, the 4 series that are going on, then you play again. And you just battle. It just goes by so fast, unfortunately. But like you said, with the body, for the body, that was kind of one of the main reasons we won. We stayed healthy, and the teams we played, we kind of ran over and forced them into injury. It's a big thing, right? You got to get a little bit lucky along the way. We won some overtime games, but it's good health definitely helps.
It's always a war of attrition at some point in a professional sports season, who's dropping like flies. Same way in the NFL. I feel like,
For
it's
sure.
a lot of these teams, it's like who could, you get a team like the Bengals, for instance, and Joe Burrow goes down in the first couple weeks for the year. And it's like, okay, you lost that war of attrition. It's like survival of the fittest, really, by the end. How do you feel this season so far in terms of the direction that the team's going in? And obviously playoffs will be coming up relatively soon, I suppose, right, Joe? In a couple weeks.
There's about
Close.
5 games left.
Yeah.
Right.
I am praying to God. I'll let you answer, but I'm praying to God because
I know what you're gonna say.
vehemently for the Golden Knights. But growing up in Vancouver, Mark, you got to understand, I'm a diehard Canucks fan. I am praying.
For sure.
There is no way that the Canucks and the Knights face off in the first
each other.
round, and it could happen.
Yeah, we lost to them last night. I think it's going to be tough for us to face each other now, but you never know. I mean, if we slip into the wild card, we could be playing them first round. And yeah, I think our last game is next Thursday, so we're getting close. But yeah, it was weird, right? You kind of come back after we only had 3 months off, and you're right back in the grind. It felt like snapped your fingers and you're back at training camp. And I'll be honest, I'm not so sure I really wanted to be there, for the opening day of training camp. I wanted a little bit more time off, but we actually had an incredible start. And then we started to kind of get those injuries, right? Just from playing so much hockey. And we're a little banged up right now, but looking like we're getting closer to health, to a healthy team. And we're starting to play better now. I don't think that, I think there's a lot of the top teams that are looking at us and don't really want to play us in the first round.
No, not at all.
I think it's
Bad draw.
because we're starting to get healthy.
Yeah.
The
We
funny
made some
thing
real
is
good
that
moves at the deadline.
in the Western Conference, I would argue that any team, first round matchups not going to be easy because the Kings right now, I think, are right. You and the Kings are right there for the last couple spots, and both teams are very dangerous. Like both teams, and you guys have experience. You're the, reigning Stanley Cup champions. As a Canucks fan, I'm expecting us to implode and just blow up. So I think whoever we face has it good. Fun fact, I will say, and I'm going to get lit up by my friends at home for this. I actually don't currently own a Canucks jersey, but I do own a Vegas Golden Knights jersey.
Wow.
You can
Oh,
believe that.
Respect.
You believe that? So I'm hoping you guys go on a long, long run.
This episode of The Sportsman is brought to you by BetterHelp. Guys, what's the first thing you'd do if you had an extra hour in your day? Maybe go for a run, take a nap, read a book, watch TV, maybe aimlessly scroll through your phone. That's what I do. Listen, we all have very busy schedules, and a lot of us spend our lives wishing we had more time. The question is, time for what? If time was unlimited, how would you use it? The best way to squeeze more time into your schedule is to know what's important to you and make it a priority. Therapy can help you find what matters to you so you can do more of it. It's not just for people who've experienced major trauma. Every one of us can learn from therapy. It can help empower you to be the best version of yourself. If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule, which, let's face it, we all have busy schedules. Lord knows Joey D and Mikey V have very busy schedules. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist that best fits you. And if you ever need to, you can switch therapists at any time for no additional charge. Find your sweet spot with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/sportsman today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/sportsman.
Now, I wanted to ask you because I know that you love golf, and with the Masters coming up this week, I just want to kind of pick your brain in terms of like how much of that are you going to be watching? Obviously, it's a crucial time for you guys in the season stuff, but are you going to be able to get some time to watch the Masters, and who are you rooting for to win at Augusta?
For sure. Already had our IT guy set up ESPN Plus in the locker room to make sure we got all the TVs
That's
going.
amazing.
So we'll have the Masters going every day. I think the team's on the road till Wednesday. We play Friday, Sunday, which is, I can't believe that any games would ever be played on Masters Sunday.
Hey,
but
listen, Easter was on Master Sunday last year. I threw a conniption fit about it. It should be outlawed. It should be outlawed.
For sure. You got to be. I agree. Like, why are we competing with it either, right? Like, we're kind of the totem pole, right? We're a little bit down here. The NHL's a little down here. Why would you compete with it? We're not going to get the views, but I obviously love golf. It's every hockey player plays golf in the summer almost for something to do. When I was 20 years old, I had nothing better going on. You go to the gym in the morning and then you go play golf. But yeah, Masters week's the best week for me. I just set up our pool today for the team. We'll have some entries in there. But yeah, I mean, the obvious choice is Scotty, right? He's kind of the guy, but
who do you want to win? Who would you root for?
God, I like Rom, always have.
Yeah.
I have a weird connection. I cheer for the live guys big time. As an athlete, I respect those guys for doing what they're doing. Taking care of themselves.
That's right.
I know a lot of guys they're getting the heat for it, but I love DJ. I love Sergio. I love all those guys, but the one guy I'm pulling for obviously is Tiger. I just want him to be healthy, man.
Yeah.
I know every golf fan, right? The guy walks on water. It's like not even a real figure. When I watched him for the first time, I didn't even think it was real. It looks like a clay figure walking around. It's crazy. But
it's insane, man.
What do you guys think? I think it's the same thing, right? Everybody say Scotty, but it's pretty hard not to agree with it.
I think Rom is a good pick, in my opinion. I mean, the guy's already won it. The guy has a lot of fight, and he's as tough a competitor as you'll find. I think he's kind of being slept on a little bit. So, I I know he's still one of the favorites to win it, but with golf, it's crazy with the odds that you get with these guys. It's unbelievable picking.
Well, Scotty's got like the shortest odds since like prime Tiger. So like he's plus 450 on a lot of books, plus 500 right now in DraftKings, but he's got shorter odds than like you just don't see somebody in the Masters with odds like that to win, unless you're talking prime Tiger or Rory when he went on his run. Like they stacked it up like in the last however many years, the shortest odds. I think he has the third or fourth shortest odds, and all behind Tiger, obviously. So that speaks incredible volumes to me. I like Matsuyama a little bit this weekend.
Played well last week.
What's interesting to me is Brooks Koepka, who obviously
not this again, Michael.
Yeah. Well, listen,
I'm a Koepka guy too. Man.
Oh, there you go, brother. There you go. Listen,
his interview today was great.
Here's the thing with Koepka is like, this is like his odds would tell you that something is up because he's plus 1,800, which is above guys like Matsuyama, which is above guys who have been in much better form recently than he has, of course. You're talking about a guy who tied for his career worst 45 in Miami last week at Live.
Right.
But I don't know. There's just something about Koepka with the Masters, but I do like Matsuyama. And I think another trendy pick is this other Live golfer.
Joaquin Niemann.
Yeah,
Niemann. Yeah.
He's been playing very good. Tick, you like Niemann, no?
I love Neiman. I used to know his caddy. That's sort of how I got involved there, but strange. But I think Brooks Koepka has actually come down. I think he's third right now. I think he's got the third best odds at plus
which is
1100.
wild, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I understand he's got 5 majors. I understand he finished second last year. Maybe if it wasn't for all the wacky weather, maybe he would beat Rahm out last year. But I still think that that's a wild spot for him to be in. I just think that's saying something that he's that high up on the short end of the odds. And I don't know. I don't know. I'm not picking him, but that's like something that I'm really interested in watching how he plays this weekend.
One guy that I'm like, they're not talking about him this year, and I think it's huge, is Rory. I find
nobody's talking Rory. No,
and I think that's perfect for him, right? Like, don't talk about him, and then maybe he'll do it. I don't know. Like last
He's
year, I was
always
like,
right
this guy's
there.
winning for sure.
Yeah,
You
he's
know?
always right there with the odds, though. I think he's he is plus
Yeah.
1,000, and he's always there, but he
wild, isn't it?
just doesn't win. He
Wild.
just-
It's just
He
wild.
He
Because
needs
he
the
has so many-
Masters.
Yeah, he does.
It's
He's
a
always
mental
finishing
block,
in the
right?
top 5, though. That's why he's always there.
Yeah, that's true.
He just
I mean,
can't
it
jump.
suits his game perfect. He's bomb it down the middle, and you should not shoot any worse than 68, right? Like,
Mark, I had a very random question for Mark that's off Masters topic. Okay. Mark, you've been to the White House now once, right?
I have,
Because
correct.
Wow.
that was only the one and only trip, right?
Yeah, I've only been to the White House
Let me ask
once.
you a question. When you were in the White House,
Oh my God. Here
did
we
you
go.
like when you were in there, were you able to like swipe any like free memorabilia, like maybe like a White House custom, like a napkin from the restroom
I do,
or a pen?
yes.
You did. That's exactly what I would have done. Okay. There you go.
What
I mean,
what'd you take?
I took a napkin from the bathroom.
That's
There you
exactly
go.
right. That's exactly right.
He called it.
But I'm thinking because I saw his picture at the White House, because I did, I do, unlike I do prepare for our shows. I do. I try to prepare. So, Mark, I did see your picture at the White House. I didn't know if it was your only time, but I assumed it was. And the first thing that popped in my mind was like, I bet they have like those really high quality napkins in the bathroom with the little White House logo. And if I was in the restroom, I'm taking a leak, I'm taking one of those napkins back with me. It's just something that's going to happen. So that's fascinating. I'm really happy to hear that. I'm really happy.
It's funny. Like everybody's like, wow, I don't know if I'm ever going to come back here. You know what I got to do. And they head in there. It's like, I got to be able to tell my buddies that I took a shit in the White House.
Yeah, that's even better. Did they give you like a little care package or something from the White House? Like when you go to the dentist and they give you like the toothbrush and the little travel tooth. I feel like they should give you a little White House gift bag when you leave the White House, like a little something like, hey, you were here. A lot of people will never be here.
Okay. We didn't. I mean, I think every single guy went to the bathroom and took some of that stuff.
That's fantastic
for sure.
news. That makes me so happy, man. It
I
really
got some
does.
cool stuff from there. Actually, I actually got to speak at which was the most nervous I ever been in my life. It's not even close.
That's cool.
They sprung it on me about a week before going like, we're just gonna have you speak. It's like, oh God. Okay, well,
heavy lies the
me.
crown, brother.
Help me. And it's President of the United States. It's no matter what your political views are,
that's correct.
It's a pretty impressive honor. So it's like probably one of the coolest things I'll ever do. I'd love to do it again. But yeah, you're bang on. If you're not going to go to the White House and there's stuff there that you're allowed to take, you may as well take it.
100%. I would have swiped anything with a logo.
I don't know how much time you got. I could probably go get the napkin and show you, but
see, and and if I was at Augusta National, I would do the same thing. If I went to an Augusta bathroom somewhere and there was a Masters napkin, I'm taking the napkin.
Are you just collecting napkins from places? What are you doing?
Oh, things with the logo. I asked about a pen. Also, if there was a pen lying around, a White House pen. You would want to have a White House pen?
A White House pen would be awesome.
Yeah, it would. Yeah, it would. Yeah,
I'd sign every check
with the White House.
With the White House pen.
The White
House.
That's right.
That's right.
That's so good. That's so good.
I never thought about that, Mikey. That's actually very
Dude, that was like the first. I was like, I have to ask Mark about the White House bathroom. That was like the first one of the first questions.
The White House,
wasn't it?
It's awesome. It's one of the coolest experiences I ever had. I mean, I'm Canadian, obviously, but the White House just has that.
It's got that mystique, the aura,
for sure, right? Yeah. Parliament's different, right? You can take tours of Parliament, which is awesome to be able to get in there, but the White House, it's just something different, right?
Wow. Now, here's the thing: this question, you're not going to really be able to. If you can't erase the White House from your memory and how special that was for you, especially to speak there. But as a big avid golfer as well, Have you been to Augusta National before?
I haven't been yet. It's usually the last weekend of our season, right? Like we're
Right.
playing and heading into playoffs. The time I was supposed to go, I had it booked up. I was playing it was my last year in Ottawa. It was a week later, and our season ended a week earlier. I had all planned, ready to go, and if I didn't get traded, I was going to go, but I ended up getting moved and played the playoffs here in Vegas. I mean, I don't regret.
going
I don't
Sunday.
regret it. I'm really happy about being here, but yeah, I want to get there eventually. I've actually been able to play with O'Meara, Mark O'Meara. He lives here in Vegas. Awesome guy, one of the greatest guys I've ever met. And he always pokes me. He's like, we'll get there. We'll get there. It's like, man, I'd love to get there, but I got to keep playing.
Yeah.
I'm going for the first time on Sunday. I'm going to be there.
Oh, it's a decent time. Decent time to go. Decent.
I've never been. So Perez, I'm going with Perez, and he's saying that he's going to walk Mikey from 1 to 18.
Yeah.
In that elevation, and
but I believe that though. That's different. He won't even feel it. He's going to be on he's going to be on cloud
floating.
9. Yeah, he's going to be on cloud 9. Well, that was my question. That was my question to Mark, was like, if you before you were a White House person, because now it's an easy decision. If I said, would you rather go to the White House, and no championship implications, just you were invited to the White House or invited to Augusta, which one are you going to? To me, I would think it would be hands down Augusta, but you have to throw out the fact that you've already been to the White House.
Yeah, it's tough. Like if I was American, I think I'd for sure White House and go to White House.
I'm American. I got to tell you, I would pick Augusta. I probably
Augusta.
Really?
Augusta.
Yeah, me too.
It's just so special, man.
Well, the thing is, I think
special.
Augusta's easier to get there, right?
I don't know.
House, I think
I don't know.
They got
It's
great
tough to get
napkins
there.
too. They got the best napkins.
Yes.
I'm gonna take a napkin. I'm gonna send a picture to everyone.
It would be nice. By the way, it would be nice if you could get me a napkin to keep, not to send me a picture, to get me one to keep. It would be nice.
If I can get in the clubhouse.
I don't
Maybe
know
even
if
get
I'm
him a
gonna
cup,
get in the
you know?
clubhouse.
Yeah, get me a cup, right?
A lot of those guys bring the cups home. Those are great. Great.
Maybe a shirt.
I'll bring you something, Michael. Okay.
Thank you. That sounds good.
It's not about you. This is about Mark right now.
No, 100% it is, but we got diverted there for a second.
I used to play there, Carlson in Ottawa. He's played Augusta numerous times. Just knows a member from Montreal, one of the few Canadian members, and became friends with him. And he took him on a couple of trips, and it's just
awesome.
It's a dream, right? But
I feel like if you know a guy who knows a guy, chances are, Mark, down the road, that might be well in play for you at some point.
He'll be out there.
I think so.
I think so too.
What would you say
O'Meara can pull some strings.
What would you say the best course that you've played up until now would be, as an avid golfer? Where would you put it?
I've played some real good courses. I think the best experience I've had was my brother, myself, my dad, and a buddy of mine went to Pebble. It was the week after the US Open. So we played US Open conditions, and it was the funnest. Is that a word? Funnest? But also
with Joe, it's definitely a word.
But just
anything goes.
Humbling experience, I remember hitting it in the rough on the first hole, and the guy's like, "All right, just lay it up." I'm like, "Lay it up." Laying up. And I tried to hit like a 6-iron out of the rough, and my club just basically bent in half and flubbed over to the other side of the rough. I'm like, this is insane. And Gary Woodland shot like 14 under or something. I shot 86 and couldn't have been more. Couldn't have been
86 in Pebble's got to be pretty good. I mean,
that's got to be
tournament
conditions.
Yeah. Correct.
I couldn't have been happier, and it's like this bogey golf. I could not have been happier.
No, not with those.
The caddy's like, all right, we got to take advantage of the first, 5 holes, because it's going to get tough after. I'm like, okay, yeah, let's dial in. I think I was like 6 over through the first 5. I'm like, oh God,
Mark,
this ain't going to end well.
I'm happy shooting 86 at the local Muni on a regular Tuesday, So 86 at Pebble.
The one thing that was it's different is like if you hit offline, the rough catches it, right? So you don't lose the ball, but you just can't hit it. It's insane, but yeah, that was probably the best experience. I've been to Whistling Straits.
Nice.
Where else have I been? I played Erin Hills on that same trip. But I want to get to the New York golf. That's the one that I really want to play. I want to play. I mean, it's gonna be hard, but get out to Shinnecock and those courses. Those seem like the best.
Bethpage,
Bethpage, all those. Yeah, Wingfoot. All those. Actually, we used to have an ex-teammate here who just joined Wingfoot. I think his grandfather is one of the part owners of the New York Giants. So was able to. Their family's been there, and I always just want to text them. But He was only on the team. He's only on the team for about a year, so it's like I feel like don't want to be the guy. Just hey, just get me on Winged Foot, you know. But
Yeah.
yeah, those
Canada
courses
has a
seem like
bunch
the
of great
best to me.
courses too. I mean, we took a trip up to Vancouver and we went to Whistler, and Banff always looks like one of the most beautiful places you could ever go.
Yeah, Banff is great
Canada's got a ton of great courses.
for sure. I think it's getting better too. Obviously, Cabot's the one that everybody
Cabot's
talks about, right? I think it's top 20 in the world, which is saying something. Toronto's got great golf. BC's got great golf. The prairies, it's just tough with the weather. It's hard to hard to hard to get the courses dialed in when it's minus temperatures for 5 months a year with snow. But yeah, most of the Vancouver, Toronto, all those areas, Montreal. We have some great courses in Ottawa too. Um, yeah, there's great golf. I'm excited for the President's Cup to be at Royal Montreal. It's supposed to be an awesome golf course too.
Canada doesn't get the love it deserves with the golf scene, man. It really doesn't. That's why I took the guys up this
Yeah.
last year. I was like, you guys got to see it. And if you play in the middle of summer, you know, it's light out till 9:30 at night in the middle of
Yeah.
July.
Yeah.
We
Is that
teed
right?
off at Mikey,
Yeah.
we teed off at like 4:35. We got a
Oh,
full
man.
round in,
Yeah.
and it's like
yeah.
beautiful. You're in the middle of the mountains, man. It's fucking sensational.
Yeah, you know, I still haven't had the opportunity to play like a twilight round, only because I've only picked up golf recently, and with the two kids, I have Mark like you. I have a daughter who she's going to be 3 years old this June, but my son is only 5. So it's like with the toddlers, the only time I really could go is morning rounds. Like I got to do early morning tee times. I look forward to the day where I could do some late rounds like that, because especially I had no idea that it was that bright out still at 9:30.
Oh, in the middle of summer,
Yeah,
Mikey,
that's
when you
sweet.
come for my wedding, it's gonna be light out till like 8:30, 9 o'clock at night. No problem.
Yeah, we get like over here, we'll get 8, like
Mhm.
a little after 8, but never like into 9:30. I mean,
Yeah.
that's wild. That's great. That's
The only
great.
problem is sometimes especially where I grew up in the prairies, I grew up in Winnipeg. The twilight
Bugs.
rounds, you're just fighting mosquitoes, and it's like
Oh,
sometimes
yeah.
it's not even
Oh.
enjoyable, you know.
That happened to
That's
us.
the pro-
That
You
happened
got
to us.
the mosquitoes
Yeah,
got
we
you?
were doing like an 18 under
Crazy.
challenge where we couldn't leave the course until the guys went 18 under. And that's a tough thing to watch because I had zero control over it. But by the end, we were just getting feasted on. These bugs were just attacking. We had to end it. I think, did we end up ending it a little early, Joe?
We played until we really couldn't see anymore, and then we
Right.
stopped.
And we were getting eaten alive.
There's no chance
mean,
we were going 18 under. There's just
dusk in Canada, it's just like, oh, I don't know. It's tough. That's the one thing about moving to Vegas. It's like, sometimes I'm like, man, I wish I could just handle that heat because there's no bugs, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
give and take, I guess, right?
Yeah,
Mark, I
for
got one
sure.
more question for you. I gotta ask because we the last guest we had on this show was a young man from the UNC basketball program, and we were asking him kind of like what his pregame routine looks like when he's, you know, getting ready for a big game and stuff. And it was a lot more elaborate than we really anticipated. So
Very
I gotta
elaborate,
ask
yeah.
now, at the highest level of hockey, you know, and for someone who's played and won a Stanley Cup, what is like your pregame routine look like from start to finish? Like, how early are you getting to the rink? Are you stretching before? Are you doing yoga? Like, what does your pregame routine look like?
My pregame routine has changed a lot with double back surgery, so I got to go through a lot more stuff. But I usually get to the rink around 4, which is the thing that I love about being out on Pacific is you get there at 4, turn on the TVs, watch the games on the East Coast. It's kind of perfect for us. So I usually get there around 4. I'll put the TVs on in the medical room, and I'll get some treatment. Then once I'm done that, I'll head into the main room, get my sticks ready. Then after that, I head into the lounge, make a snack, shoot the shit with the guys, watch the other games. Then we start our meetings around 5:30. We'll do PK, penalty kill, power play, a little bit of 5-on-5, and then it's kind of zone. After that, it's kind of zone in time. Usually just ride the bike for 5-6 minutes, stretch a little bit, do an active warm up, and then get the hair ready and head out for warm up. That's usually it. It's nothing too crazy. The whole day is kind of what's exhausting because we do pregame skates. It's just like the weight almost kind of sucks. Like we're hockey players, our pregame naps are our sacred time when I get in there, but it's almost to pass the day, right? I don't know if we actually like the nap or if it's just I don't want to sit for 4 hours doing nothing, thinking about the game. So it's like kind of passing time, but we don't have anything crazy. Some guys are, I don't know, doing eye stuff, or I don't know if it's like praying or what they're doing. I'm not into that stuff. I'll be ready. The older I've gotten, the less I do.
Yeah. Yeah.
We can feel that.
Yeah.
When I was young, it's like, I should be doing this. Then I got to do that.
And
I got to do this.
See, we were talking, the guy we interviewed, Cormac Ryan, is like 24 years old, and he's still in college playing college ball. And it's like, I kind of had a feeling Mark's answer was going to be more on the other end of the spectrum, as opposed to, this guy's routine is like, it was like a 10-hour regiment before he was.
Yeah, I don't have that.
Yeah. That's good. That's good.
It's kind of, I feel like some guys, like, especially you see the younger guys come in, it's like, if I don't do this, there's no chance I'm playing good tonight. It's like, well, really? Like, why? Yeah. So for me, it's like, I'll just make sure once I feel good, it's like, man, I'm ready to go. And we also have we got the 16-minute warm up on ice too, right?
Yeah.
That you don't take into consideration. Like, if I'm going to warm up for 30 minutes before the game, like off ice, then I got to do another 15. It's like, it's almost excessive.
Got one more question for you, Mark. I'm sorry I'm picking your brain. It's so fascinating to me hearing. I got to know where your favorite away, like on the road place to play is, and then the place you hate playing in the most. So like the best and the worst and reasons why. I just interested to hear.
I got 3 favorites on the road. I think my number one's, I think you guys will appreciate this. There's nothing better than playing at the Garden. It's by far the best. I love it. I made my debut at the Garden when I was 19. It's the best place in the world. I love playing there. That's my one. My 2 is Boston Garden. Same thing. It's unbelievable. Just the passion and the fan base. And then 3 is Montreal. Same thing. Those are my 3 favorites. It's not even close. And the thing that's great about there too is being there. In New York City is great.
Yeah.
Fun to be in there for the city. Boston's awesome. Then Montreal's unbelievable too. It's like great food, great scenes. Rookie parties are always there, which is another awesome thing. Rookie dinners. And for me, I've never liked playing in Arizona, unfortunately. Now my brother played there for years, but it's, it was an empty building. Anything with an empty building is just not what you grow up thinking, right? You always think
now they're playing like
in front of sellouts, but
college state. It's got to be terrible now.
It's not my favorite. It's not as bad as you think, right? The setup that they have for us is actually quite good. The visiting locker room's great, but yeah, I played junior hockey. I didn't think I was ever going to be playing in front of 5,600. We love going to Arizona. It's an awesome city. We hope they stay, but we just hope they can get their fan base back because the rink was in a weird spot. But that's probably. There's so many good rinks, but it's always the old school ones, right? Chicago's great. Boston's great. Montreal's great. Those ones are all
Boston
awesome,
Garden.
right?
I couldn't believe how amazing that stadium and the setup is.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
Yeah, and then the restaurants are real close there too, right? So we stay right in the city. I think it's north. Is it North Boston? With all the Italian restaurants. It's like so awesome. And then, I kind of stayed in there, and I actually played a playoff series there, which was pretty cool. And it was in with the Celtics, so we were sharing the hotel with the Heat. So we were almost kind of like cheering each other on. You'd see each other roaming the hallways.
Cool. Yeah,
That one was pretty awesome.
I tell you what, Philadelphia's got a pretty nice little program, Mark. If you ever want to come
Big
on
Philly
over
guy.
our way, I mean it. We would love to have you. We would love to have you.
I will say, when that building's buzzing, it's that's a great place to play too. And same thing. I love staying in that city. I actually have a funny Allen Iverson story there. I was young, and I was like 23. I was playing in Ottawa, and he was sitting in the lobby playing, well, not in the lobby, but in the lobby bar playing cards, drinking champagne with his buddies. And I'm like, man, this is my only chance I'm ever going to ask. If he says no, whatever. I go over like, hey, Allen, is there any way I could get a picture with you? And he just goes, he kind of like looks up at me, goes, sorry, man. I'm just chilling. I'm like, oh, you know what? That's all right, Mr. Iverson. Off I went, put my tail between my legs, headed to the bus, and I was like, well,
dog.
hopefully I play good tonight. But yeah, it was pretty funny.
He's got
Yeah.
a presence to him.
The idea
He
of calling
does. It was
Allen
cool.
Iverson Allen is hilarious to me.
I didn't know. I was like, do I call him Allen? Do I call him Mr. Iverson? What do I even say?
AI.
Yeah, sure.
Excuse me, the answer. I was just wondering.
I didn't know what to say, but I love telling that story because I'm like, you know what? I respect him more for saying that than actually taking the picture.
Sure. Well, Mark, let me tell you, each week we do a segment called Who's a Problem? It's where the three of us go around and we basically just pick someone or something from the previous week that we found to be a big old problem. But before we get there, I'll let you think about that one for a minute. I got one more question for you, and it's I've been told that each night, or when you win the Stanley Cup, everyone gets a night with the cup. And I got to know, it might be a trite question. I'm sure you've probably been asked a million times, but I got to know what you did that night with the cup after you won.
Yeah. So the cool thing about it is the day you win, the captain gets to take the cup home. So that was probably the coolest thing. Waking up the next day with the cups at the end of my bed, that was awesome. But then, it kind of goes on a tour, right? I think the first stop was in Quebec, and then it kind of moves across and then comes back into the States. Everyone gets their day. I think if I won at an earlier age, I would have gone crazy. But I just had a big party with all my friends and family, and the thing was full the whole time. Everybody wants to drink out of the cup. It's got a crazy presence to it. Everybody that sees it just it mesmerizes people. But that week where you get to do it with your teammates was kind of they're two different things, right? It's super exciting to celebrate with like your friends and family who kind of got you there, but then it's also that week. I think we had it for 7 days right after you win. That 7 days is so special with all the guys, and you kind of run, which is fun. Our owner actually flew us out to his ranch just to take a couple days off because 7 days in Vegas with that would have been just insane.
Yeah, I gotta tell you, Mark, I had a picture with the cup too. I just didn't earn it.
That's awesome.
Look at that young man right there. Just, I tell you what, it is.
How long do you think he was looking for that picture ticket?
A minute.
I think he missed half the answer looking for that.
No, you know what I will say? It is almost as awesome. It's cooler in person than you can imagine it is.
No, listen, that is to me,
it's the holy grail.
It's the number one sports trophy in terms of like mystique, look to it, like the size of it, like what the guys do with it, like Mark just went over. Like, I think that is because like the Lombardi trophy, the World Series trophy, maybe the World Cup, but even that, like, you don't do anything with it. Like the Stanley Cup is just like, it's different. It's just different. So I do think that that's at the top of the pecking order when it comes to major sport trophy, actually all sport trophies, to be honest.
The thing that actually is probably I didn't realize that I was going to do and enjoy was the guys who, like the keepers of the cup, the stories that they can tell is unbelievable. Especially in the 90s when there was no social media and pictures being taken.
God,
I could not imagine going through a summer of dealing with those boys. Like the stories are unbelievable.
Yeah,
that was like some of the best when we had like the team dinners. Those guys, they followed everywhere. Their eyes are on that. They're locked. Like they don't mess around. But when you sit them down at dinner, get a few drinks, and the stories that they got is unbelievable.
Yeah, that's fantastic. That's got to be an off-air conversation because
for sure.
I would love to hear
Mikey, you have the stature, Mikey. You could be a keeper of the cup.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. Now, Mark, you're like 6'4", 6'5",
6'3".
Yeah.
Okay.
6'3". Yeah. What? How big are the keepers of the cup? These guys?
They're not tall.
They're not big guys.
Oh, okay. All right.
No.
They might need a big guy to watch the cup. I'm up for that job. I would be great at that job, I feel like.
I think
there would be no messing around with that cup. No, I would be great. I'd be
You'd have the white gloves on at all times.
Yeah, definitely. Absolutely. I'd be wiping it down with a White House napkin.
Windex. Windex.
Yeah.
It is
Oh,
impressive.
man.
They bring everything. If you want to put certain things, they lay stuff in the cup nicely, and they get her dialed in.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
All right, gentlemen. Well, let's head to our Who's a Problem segment. Joe, let's start with you this week. Who's a problem?
I'm going to say bikers. Bikers are absolutely,
I'm
dude,
a
I don't know. Oh, I'm sorry, Mark. I
A
hate
road
you.
biker, Mark? You're a road biker?
bike. Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
So I don't know if you heard the story, Mark, but this last week, actually not last week, yesterday, I was in Miami for the day. And long story short, I had to run to the parkade. Nicole left her phone in the car. I had to get it, and I was running back because she had these receipts on the phone that she had to return some stuff at the store. So I'm trying to run back to get to the store, and I turn around the corner of the parkade. And as I'm turning around the parkade corner, I look, and oncoming is a biker. This little Latina chick, right, just steamrolled into me on the sidewalk. It was a massive collision. My mouth was bleeding. Nicole's phone fell and smashed, and now I got to fix the phone. And there was a bike lane, and I just think that there's so many rules that don't apply to bikers that apparently apply to everyone else. If that, Mikey, if that young lady
did I not say this last year, Joe? Did I
I'm
not?
just saying, I'm going to reiterate it.
Good.
If that young lady was in a Vespa, if she was in a motorcycle, if she was in a car,
You may
it
have been
would have been
killed.
I could have been killed, and it would have been a whole different story. But because she's on the bike, no helmet, riding on the sidewalk, even though there's a bike lane, it's just like they don't. And I'm not grouping you into this, Mark, but like
No,
majority-
Mark
I follow
abides
the
by
rules.
the
Don't worry, I
rules of the
follow the
road.
rules.
Yes, yeah.
you gotta obey the rules of the road. You're basically
sure.
handling a piece of equipment, and you're on the road. It was devastating. It was really tough. That's my problem.
You got to tell Mark what you did to her.
I mean, she took I'm built like a shit brick house. So I think she took more of the fucking brunt than I did. And she was holding her head. I think she was concussed. And I tried talking to her. She didn't speak English. So I kind of patted her on the head and wished her well, and just
patted her on the head. What is she, a cocker spaniel? You patted her on the head?
We were getting nowhere, Mikey. We were getting nowhere. I couldn't talk to her.
Yeah,
There's no communication. I could offer her no help or support.
Right. You patted her on the head. Oh, but this story gets better every time you tell it.
And now Bob's trying to get the footage. We found the parkade.
He's sick. He really is sick. We'll talk about that later, but what he did to me the other night was sick, trying to get video footage of that incident. The phone call and text message I got was outrageous. But anyway, Tick, you want me to go?
Sure. Mikey, who's a problem?
I'm going to say that the Purdue basketball team as a whole is a problem. This is a team minus Zach Edey. Zach Edey, this is a guy who did everything he possibly could. And listen, I've been a critic of his at points during the season where, but watching that game last night, like he loses gas. He runs out of gas, but he's so big and they just don't give him any rest because they can't, because the second he comes off the court, he came off the court last night for like a period of maybe it seemed like 20 seconds. The game before he only had rest for 33 seconds. And as soon as they took him off the court, it was like they just got eviscerated down low, an immediate dump down into the paint and score for UConn. The Purdue team just did not do enough. They were a problem. They did not show up for him at all. Even in the Final Four round against NC State, it was Edey. And if Edey wasn't a factor, that was it. And Edey did everything he could. I felt like last night he did as good as he possibly could have. But again, that Purdue team, man, even if they gave just something, if somebody else just had stepped up a little bit, it may have been a little different because yes, the game ended up being not close with UConn, but they kind of hung around that first half. Edey was dominant. Like, you don't know what it could have been maybe if he got just some kind of support, but Purdue's the problem for me this week.
They got out-coached too, Mikey. They were
outclassed in every way. UConn was just you can't defend UConn. They could just do these. They got guys coming off the bench that could just hit threes. Their backup center, when Klingon comes off the court, was putting Edey in a spin cycle.
Kaplan or whatever.
They're so deep. They're just so deep. They outclassed everybody. And I'm not taking anything away from UConn at all. But my God, Purdue really, like outside of Edey, they were just massively disappointing to me. So they're my problem for the week, Tick.
Yeah, they clearly didn't have the horses to compete in that one. I will keep mine quick and we can get it over to Mark. Mine's gonna be a good problem this week. It's this Gator Light. I don't know if you guys have had this.
Oh,
Great
it's
drink.
good.
Great
But
drink.
the
You gotta do
mixed,
the purple
the
one.
mixed,
The purple
I
Is that
got
the
it.
purple?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's the
purple.
purple. Yeah, it's good. Purple's good.
Dude, the electrolytes, the potassium, the sodium, forget about it. I mean, this stuff's changing lives over here. And yeah, you got to get the mixed berries. So that's Gator Light is a good problem for me this week. But without further ado, we will head over to Mark. Mark, who's a problem?
Oh man. I mean, Mikey took mine. I was going to go with Edie, but
Well, I mean, you could take Edie. I
think
didn't
I'm
really
gonna.
take.
I'll change it up. I'll change it up. I think I'll stick with the Edie, but I feel like my problem is like NBA scouts. I don't understand why Edie is not being talked about. I feel like this guy's going to be a good NBA player. Maybe this is the craziest take ever, but to me, he's got to have some value, no?
Yeah, no, I think
Or am I
people are
crazy?
I think people are either really hot on him or really cold. I don't think there's anybody in the middle that thinks he's just going to be okay. I think there's a contingency that says he's not going to be well, he's not going to fare well, and then a contingency like yourself, Mark, who thinks he's going to be a player. And I don't think it's outrageous of a take. I mean, he's
gonna have to fucking bulk up, man. Though he's gonna get.
I don't know, Joe.
You imagine him going up
300
against
pounds?
Giannis? Giannis is gonna fucking throw him around.
Yeah,
like
well,
a
I mean,
feather.
Giannis is a different type of animal.
Yeah.
Like but I don't know. I really don't know. You know, I was really down on him at the beginning of the year. And then as the year went on, I thought he did more and more to put them in the position that they were ultimately in last night. And, you know, I can't go at him. I mean, he was dominant in the paint last night in the beginning of that game. Dominant. He was.
Might be a good.
I just think he has value, you know. I just think he has value to an NBA team. He's got to, right?
Absolutely.
I feel like some people think that there's no way. But
listen, if you could get him at a decent pick, if he falls down,
that's the whole thing. I
Yeah.
wouldn't be picking him personally that high. I wouldn't
For sure.
because I'm not that big on him, but I do think that he has value. Certainly. I do.
I guess that's my take.
No, I don't think it's a bad take.
I don't think it's a bad take.
Watch
I'll
him
come
just
back on in 3
Rookie
years.
of the year
I'll
next
see
year.
how
We'll
it
have to bring
goes.
Mark back on after he's rookie of the year and tell everybody I told you so.
All right, everyone. Well, that's who's a problem. And I think I speak for everybody when I say, Mark, this was a true pleasure. And thank you very much for coming on the show.
Thank you, boys.
man,
What you're doing.
We appreciate you, man. We want to keep
Yeah.
the hockey, the hockey talk going, and we want, people tell us all the time, you got to incorporate hockey more. So you're the first hockey
Sure.
guest on, and
Appreciate
we're
it.
thrilled to have you. We appreciate you. We got to get some golf in the off season.
I was going to
Or
say
maybe-
too, Mark, next time the Knights come and play the Devils, I'd love to show you a couple places over in Jersey that are great places for you. and
He's
the
a good
boys to eat,
foodie.
for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
We stay in the city for the most of that trip. We used to do day rooms in Jersey, but I'd love to shoot out.
Absolutely.
My favorite trip of the year.
I'll hit you up for sure. Thanks, buddy.
Thank you
All
so
right,
much,
thank you,
Mark. We
guys.
appreciate
Thanks,
you, man.
Mark.
Appreciate it.
Take care, man.
I tell you what, two great spectacular guests back to back.
Oh,
And
it
I tell you what,
was.
the napkin at the White House just
That was
sealed the
when
deal.
you started asking him that, I thought, what in God's name is Mikey asking? And it turned out the exact thing that you gave the example
It
of.
was amazing.
It was like you read his mind.
Joe.
You're such a
I use this for more than just a hat
You're
rack sometimes,
sick
Joe. I do.
individual.
I do.
You're
I
sick.
am. There's no question about that. But I thought he was great. You know what? And it's something like that'll, maybe somebody will watch the Sportsman this week and maybe they'll be like me, someone who wasn't raised on hockey. I just wasn't raised on hockey. My dad watched football. My grandfather watched baseball. I played basketball and football. So like those were my three sports. I really nobody was into hockey around me growing up. But like maybe someone else is in that same camp and they watch that interview and they're like, well, I like this guy. Maybe I'm going to watch the Vegas Knights, and they're going to, all of a sudden they'll become a fan of a team. Now, I try and get interest, especially in the playoffs when the Devils or the Rangers are playing. But when you talk to somebody like that and he's such a personable guy and such a nice guy, it's just, he's a great ambassador for the game. I think very laid back, very open and transparent about how he really feels about everything. And I thought his answer, particularly on the pregame prep, was totally honest and forthcoming. I thought his answer about the layoff that they have or lack thereof before the next season starts was very honest and transparent. And that's refreshing. I don't want to hear somebody who's just going to give company man cookie cutter bullshit answers.
No.
And he certainly didn't. He was great. He was spectacular.
He's a real one, man, and
Yeah,
it makes
he
you
was
it
cool.
makes you want to root for him. By the way, Mikey, he sent me this like weeks ago. Look at
Sure.
this. He is a top 5 percentile follower of the
Wow.
Brilliantly Dumb show.
Look at him
Top
go.
Great
top
guy.
5
Great guy.
percentile. I
He
mean,
may
if that
be my
doesn't-
he may be my buy this week. He could be my buy this
if
week.
I
He
tell
may
you
be
what,
my
if
buy.
that doesn't make you want to root for this guy,
No,
and he-
definitely. And I feel
I
like a
didn't even-
total horse's ass because he's following me on Instagram. I just looked him up and I wasn't following him
Oh,
back.
well,
So
he-
now,
Mikey.
well, now I am. I mean, Tick, I didn't see the follow, Tick.
You got to see the
didn't see
blue
the
check.
follow.
You got to see the blue check.
I didn't see the blue check, Tick. I
Yeah.
missed
All right.
it. I missed it. But now I am following, and he'll have a fan for life in me. I'll be a fan of
Yeah,
Mark Stone
he's-
for life. Great guy.
What did you think of him, Tick? Because you're a hockey guy too, you know.
And I was already a fan of Mark Stone to begin with. I really liked him, and it was just cool to meet him, man. He was just like everything Mikey just said. He was just class act, nice, great ambassador for hockey. Hopefully some more people get involved, and maybe we'll start talking about it more. But Mark gave us that sort of hockey kick in the ass there that I think we might have needed, and
Yeah, it
especially
was
with
cool.
with
Playoffs are coming up. We'll be
playoffs,
we'll be
correct.
back. We'll be back.
Yeah,
We'll be back.
We'll be back.
We'll be
But
back.
in other news, let's talk about a couple things. Let's talk viewer questions, and then we'll get out of here. First thing I would like us to talk about is Stephon Diggs heading to Houston. Got his wish, it seems like. Seemed like he didn't want to be there anymore. He's leaving Buffalo, and he's heading to Houston. What do you guys think about it?
Report that came out. Yeah, I listen. Fleeced, maybe a little harsh, but Texans won the deal. Texans won
For
the deal.
sure.
By
For
far.
sure.
Yeah.
Here's the thing is that Buffalo would probably argue that Stephon Diggs was becoming a real problem in that locker room. And a couple things to back that up that are real stories from reporters that came out was after that Jets game in the locker room when they lost on that punt return touchdown.
Yeah.
And this, I'm sure most of you listening to this may already know, but Josh Allen was in the locker room getting consoled by all his teammates, and Diggs came over, said something to him, and Allen responded by screaming, "It's one fucking game," to Diggs. Diggs started getting phased out in the target department later in the season, and the report is that Buffalo was almost trying to send a message to prove that they didn't need him to get 8 catches a game for them to be successful. Whether that's right, wrong, or indifferent, I'm not here to judge it. I'm not here to say it. All I'm telling you is that when you could get a player of Diggs's quality to already go on a team with Tank Dell and to go on a team with CJ Stroud, who is a budding superstar, at least he looked like it his rookie year.
Nico Collins, Joe
Nico
Mixon.
Collins, you got Mixon. When you throw him into the mix on a team that's that good already, the first year usually, no matter what, should be a good result. It should be a honeymoon year like it was in Buffalo. There weren't problems. They were playing video games together. Everything was hunky-dory. That's what the Texans are probably trying to consolidate right now is a honeymoon period. And if it starts going south, they could wash their hands of them and be done with them. And all they gave up was a 2nd-round pick. They got a 5th and a 6th back plus the
I thought it
player.
was a first round. No, next year.
Second.
No,
It was the
second,
They
yeah.
didn't
Oh,
trade a
my
first rounder for him. They didn't trade
God.
a first rounder for him. So yeah, that's my whole thing is like the Texans could cut bait with this if it gets ugly after a season. So I think you'll capitalize on the honeymoon period with Diggs, which could be spectacular considering all the weapons already there. And that could prove very fruitful for them considering that division to me, Jacksonville ticket. We talk about Trevor Lawrence all the time. I don't know. The Colts, Anthony Richardson. I don't know. He hasn't played football in a very long time.
Tennessee is whatever.
Tennessee, they made a lot of moves, but again, Will Levis, I don't know.
Yeah.
But I do know one thing. I know the Texans are a proven playoff team with a quarterback who was one of the greatest rookie seasons we've ever seen in the history of the game. So that to me makes the move worth it. Whether it ends up working long-term, I don't think the Texans even give a shit. I think they're looking to capitalize on the right now. That's why they moved up and they got not only CJ Stroud, but Will Anderson Jr. and traded those picks for him because they're ready to make moves right now. This is a win now team in Houston. And it came out of nowhere, but that's what good GMs do. They'll capitalize on it and we'll see what happens. But I think that it was a great trade for Houston, a great trade because again, it's not a death sentence if things start going south with him.
It's interesting to see too how DeMeco Ryans was able to do so much with so little. People thought last year, and now all of a sudden you got guys who are essentially like superstars, And say what you want about Mixon or not, it gives them now a legitimate running game that they can turn to as well and look to that area. But it's going to be interesting to see what he does now with, some good pieces coming back. They could be a fun, young run and gun team. I tell you what, man, they could be awesome.
I still don't understand what happened with the Joe Mixon thing in Cincinnati. They just let him go. I have no idea why they did that.
Yeah, they were talking about that though, like earlier in the off season, that was going to be a potential like cap casualty was going to be Joe Mixon though. They
have a
they've
bad
been talking
season.
about
I mean,
that.
it wasn't like he was bad.
No, but you know what? Listen, in today's game, you just paid Joe Burrow a boatload of money, an exorbitant amount of money. Now you got Jamar Chase. You got a very unhappy
Higgins trying to get out.
T. Higgins that wants to be traded allegedly. So it's the priorities in the NFL. That's the problem. You land one of these top flight quarterbacks when you got to pay them. You got to kind of follow the Kansas City model as best you can, and you got to hope that you got a guy that's special at the quarterback position, because it's tough to keep all the supporting cast, around when things start getting really expensive and the money gets tight.
Yeah. Well, anyway, that does not seem to be Buffalo seems to be missing out on its window. So we'll see what happens there. Hopefully they can find a replacement for him. But that's the other thing too, is in the draft, there's a ton of wide receiver talent. There's a ton of wide receiver talent that I think that's probably where they're going to go. But what do I know? That's Mikey's department. One more thing we should touch on before we head to these viewer questions is the game last night. March Madness came to a conclusion. UConn, Purdue, and it was never really seemed like much of a game. UConn handled business. Gentlemen, what are your thoughts?
I mean, Mikey summed it up pretty well. I just think that Purdue hung around the first half, and then, by the end, oh yeah, Edey. I mean, he played great.
The first half, he was unstoppable. I mean, when he has that sky hook going, when he could connect,
he was hitting it from far too.
When he could connect on that sky hook, he's unguardable. He's physically unguardable. You cannot do anything about him. The issue again is if he starts missing a couple shots here and there, and you're playing a very top quality, high level opponent that could beat you in all the ways UConn could beat you on the other side of the court on their offensive side, it becomes problematic when there's no supporting cast. And I mean, these Purdue guys they looked bad. They looked
second half got away from them. And I think the thing is with a team like that, once it got to 10 plus points, the game was over.
Shoot the three. They can't shoot the three.
When they were, down 6, 7, like you think you get a couple stops, you go down, you score a couple buckets, maybe you get them in foul trouble, you still are around it, but then it was getting to 13, 15. And I mean, at that point, it was just like, they were just outclassed, and UConn was hitting threes. They were hitting low in the paint. I mean, they just were too much for them. I think they were just ultimately the better team. Dan Hurley, to me, is as good a coach as you're going to find. He was fucking losing his mind. They were up 16 points, and he was running on the court. Like, I mean, he's so involved, and I just think that they were so ready for that game that, ultimately they were the best team. They deserved to win, and they won. So
yeah, I agree. And I think I saw a tweet that I thought was probably summed it up best. And it said, it's 2024 and Purdue played in a national championship game and only shot 4 threes and expected to win the game.
Yeah.
That just does not work. Like, you cannot beat a team like UConn playing half court basketball, dump it down inside. It's just not going to work, because eventually Edey's going to get gassed, because you never rest him. Like I said earlier, you never rest the fucking guy, and you don't shoot any threes. None of your guys could shoot from the perimeter. And UConn, I thought, was so masterful in the way they navigated through the tournament. They beat every type of team. They beat the high-scoring, flashiest team in the country in Alabama. They do is shoot threes. They beat the team with Goliath, right? They beat Zach Edey, the player of the year. They beat Illinois, and they covered against every fucking team. They've 12-0 against the spread in the last 2 years in the tournament is outrageous. Yeah. That is outrageous. They are approaching, if they're not there already, they're approaching dynasty territory, UConn. They're
I
approaching
mean,
it.
they're already there. They just
Yeah,
won
I mean, I would
back-to-back
argue maybe
years.
they are. Maybe they are, because that's how good this team was. And I can't believe I'm saying that, because last year's team I thought was really good, but this year's team was much better, which is insane to say, but they were. And hats off again. Yeah, Hurley's tremendous. I mean,
Yeah.
he was interviewed this morning on Pat McAfee. He's like, oh, I'll take a few days and then, it's back to work. We're trying to create a dynasty here. Well,
Did he say that? Did he use those words?
yes, he did. Yes,
Oh,
he
yeah.
did. He's
Wow.
trying to go dynasty
Good for
mode,
him.
man. And that's scary for everyone else in the country. I can tell you that, because that UConn team with him there and the way they've been playing, the recruitment and that they're going to get, and the NIL money, my God, forget it. Forget it. They're going to be tough for a long time.
Do you know how hard it is to get people to go to Stores, Connecticut? The fact that this
Yeah.
guy's recruiting the top recruits to get to go and live in Stores, Connecticut. It's
People
unbelievable.
They got to
wanna
build
win,
a little,
Tick. People wanna
they got to
win.
build
Sure.
a little village over there just for the basketball players, man. And, for people, it always makes me laugh, like, especially with college sports, like, you have these people associated with the universities that are anti, privilege, let's say, for athletes, or anti, college athletes and the athletic programs getting so much press and the students, having these benefits and things like. But you got to realize at the end of the day, it's the bottom line. Like, what are you bringing to the university that's generating any type of revenue? Odds are, if you're one of those people, very little compared to what these kids who are playing basketball and football are bringing. They are the money makers for these universities. Do not get it twisted. College basketball, college football, these are the kids who bring in money to the big name programs. And you got to just get over it. You got to get over it and just accept it, because it is a business now, so more than ever with the NIL shit. More than ever. These are pro athletes now, for lack of a better term. That's what they are. And
100%.
it's
Yeah.
only going to
They
get
always
bigger.
they always have been.
Yeah, to a degree, but now it's open. Now it's
Reggie
open
Bush.
season.
Reggie Bush was a professional athlete.
Well,
Sure.
Reggie should get. I mean, a lot of these guys were, and I don't want to single
for
out
the
Reggie.
fact
And
that
Reggie
they
should
tried,
get all his shit
no,
back.
well, I'm saying the
He should
fact
get all
that
his
I
shit back.
use him as an example because he got punished for basically he was the best.
Everybody in
most
Reggie Bush's
electric
shoes would
player.
have done the exact same thing for their family.
100%.
Everybody.
And he should have.
Everybody.
And the fact that he got punished for that is ridiculous, because now these kids are getting paid and they should.
And the kids who say that they wouldn't have done it if
That's
they were in Reggie
bullshit.
Bush's shoes, then you had to be a child of very good means. Perhaps
Sure.
you came from a lot of money, and maybe you wouldn't have done it because you didn't need to do it. But for people who need the money and they want to put their families in a better position, everybody and their mother would have done it. So I don't want to hear that either. That's nonsense.
Sure. From UConn to Reggie Bush. But here we
Yeah,
are.
well, that's the
I was
diversity of the
just-
sportsman.
No, I agree. That was a great example, Joe.
That's
I'm
the
being
diversity and the range of the sportsman. That's what
That's
we are
right.
able to do here.
That's what
Sport
we
to
got.
sport.
Some would say this has been a top tier episode so far.
Oh,
I
top
would
tier
say.
episode. I would agree.
Sure. Maybe we can get into babies again. Maybe we can go in that direction. I think people really like that. I think people really ended up liking that.
You got some questions, Tick?
Yep. Let's move on to viewer questions. First question comes from Lauren Griffin. Most overrated and underrated NFL coaches in NFL history.
Overrated and underrated?
Correct.
Underrated. I could
Wow.
give you a few overrated coaches.
Yeah, I the first one that comes to my mind is Mike McCarthy for overrated. I know he catches a lot of heat now. He catches a lot of heat because of Dallas, but I always thought that, like, I just never thought he was that great of a coach. I really didn't. I thought he had the luxury of some of the best teams, and to only walk away from all of that with Favre and Rodgers with one Super Bowl, to me is, did he win two with Favre, Joe, or one? One, right?
No, he only won one with Rodgers.
One with Rodgers. I'm sorry.
One
But
with
he was there
Rodgers.
he was there with Favre, though, was he not?
Wasn't
For a
he?
brief
Maybe
period.
at the
very end?
Maybe the very end. I don't think so, though.
Yeah, I think Mike McCarthy was one of the guys who I would say is in the overrated conversation. Underrated for me. Man, oh man. That's tough. I don't know. Do either of you guys have one off the top of your head?
I'm trying to think. Underrated.
Underrated. I don't know. Overrated. How about Mike Ditka?
Oh my God.
I got one for you. How about Mike Ditka?
He's just trying to
Yeah.
poke
I
the
mean,
bear.
listen. Ditka gets.
I
a
have
lot
my
of play.
overrated.
Ditka
My
gets a lot of play.
overrated. My overrated is Pete Carroll. I think he's a clown. I think he's,
That's a
for
good
him,
one.
for
Good
him
one.
calling that play in the Super Bowl on the biggest stage, for them not running the ball with Marshawn Lynch, one of the most outrageous decisions, which ultimately cost them.
The problem with calling Carroll overrated is the fact that he is in the elite fraternity of guys who have won national and NFL championships. That's why it's tough for me to say that.
Played
But I
with a
do know,
USC
I know
team that
what
was.
angle I know, and I know what angle you're going with him. I do understand that.
He
And
also had one of the greatest defenses ever compiled with the Legion of Boom.
No
I'm not
doubt
saying
about
he was a bad coach.
No doubt about
I'm saying I think he was overrated. In the sense,
No doubt
I
about
think you could have thrown someone else in there and they could have been pretty successful with the teams that he had at his disposal. Underrated, I would say in the thing is, it's hard because I think most coaches who are good get recognized.
They do.
I would say Harbaugh, not Harbaugh, what he did with the Niners and what he's done with the Michigan Wolverines. I don't think he gets enough credit. Now, it'll be interesting to see when he goes to the Chargers and how he handles that team. I think you'll see a lot of people either give him his kudos or not. But I think he is a great coach. And I think he gets questioned a lot because he is not exactly a guy you want to root for. He's a bit of a prick. And you know what? End of this. I just think, though, if I'm being honest, I think what he's done is pretty impressive.
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah. I thought another guy maybe was a Marvin Lewis. He lasted a long time in the league that I thought, and he was a little overrated in my opinion. I think an underrated guy, maybe a Tony Dungy, who I thought was a tremendous coach, and he was on the underrated side. I don't think he gets talked about enough. I thought he was really good. There's so many. There's just so many.
You could say, I know that he's now no longer looked at, and it's kind of like bad karma to talk about him. But John Gruden was a hell of a coach when he was coach.
Yeah.
Before he was doing all the offside shit, and I'm not condoning that, but like
Fighter XY2 banana, man.
I think LaFleur is a little underrated. I think what he's doing over there in Green Bay, I think he's on his way.
All right.
I don't think I think it's way too early to call him over or underrated. I think he's accurate. I think he's like rated.
You think he's perfect where he is? Okay,
perfect
fair enough.
Where he is. Yeah, I think so.
Dicko
was a low blow though pick. That's I can't co-sign that.
A lot of people think that it was that D coordinator. What was his fucking name?
That was Rex.
No.
Buddy Ryan.
Buddy Ryan.
Rex Ryan's father. Yeah.
Right. Correct.
Yeah, Buddy Ryan, the late Buddy Ryan. Rest in peace.
Yeah, true. Anyway, moving on here. Jackson Whaley wants to know start, bench, cut sports venues: Wrigley Field, MSG, and Lambeau Field.
Oh my God.
Start, cut, bench, Wrigley, MSG, Lambeau.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, for Joe, he's going to start or bench Lambeau, I would imagine. But for me, I mean, I'll go local bias. I mean, I'll start MSG. The Garden is the mecca of sports, in my opinion. Whether you're talking about prize fighting, whether you're talking about basketball, anything, it is. I mean, you saw what Mark Stone said. That should tell you everything. That's a guy from Canada who doesn't owe New York or the Rangers or Madison Square Garden anything. He doesn't have to talk about Madison. And he adamantly said that is his favorite place.
It's the right answer, Mikey.
Yeah,
you got to start MSG.
It's
the
MSG.
fact Sinatra performed there.
It's MSG. Ali Frazier. I mean, it's MSG with a bullet as the starter. The bench, listen, I'm going to bench Wrigley only because the friendly confines of Wrigley and the Chicago tie, and I'll cut Lambeau for obvious reasons. But I'm sure Joe's going to bench Lambeau, which is the appropriate play for him, and he should cut Wrigley. That's the appropriate play.
Yeah, I mean, I'm benching Lambeau, one of the most historic stadiums.
Sure.
And if you've ever watched a game there, it's just so awesome to be in that stadium, original bucket seats, everything. It's just awesome, man. When I went to the game, the first time I went to the game there, and then they had the flyover with the F fighter jets. I mean, it was just unbelievable. I'll bench Lambeau, I'll cut Wrigley. Although I've never been to Wrigley. we actually were next door to Wrigley. We didn't go inside. We went to the DraftKings Sportsbook.
That's right. That's right.
Seemed sensational, but I've never
Yeah, it's
experienced that. And for that reason, I'm going to cut Wrigley.
Sure.
It's a great question.
I think that's
Very
the
good
only
question.
decision that you can make there.
Yes.
I'm with Mikey though. I'm MSG starting Wrigley, benching, and then cutting Lambeau. Mainly only because I don't really have any desire to go to Green Bay. That's most
That's
of
right.
it. That's most of it. But I get where you're coming from, Joe.
Yes, absolutely. That's the only answer for a backup.
Yes. And we'll do one more. This one comes from Drew Calderwood. What's your guys' take on Bronny entering the draft only averaging 4.5 points per game?
Just the circus act. I mean, circus act. I mean, it's a circus act. I mean, I assume that he's just going to get drafted by maybe the Lakers. I don't know, because LeBron wants to play with him and LeBron controls everything because that's just the way the NBA is. And, I don't know, like, I mean, Bronny shouldn't even be a talking point because he's not any good. Like, am I wrong? I'm not trying to shit on his kid at all, but his kid's not a kid. His kid's a man now. So, I'm not trying to shit on him, but like, he's not good. So yeah, I don't understand why in the world this would be happening other than the fact that he's guaranteed to be drafted.
Mikey,
Yes.
look at what Mark Stone just sent me.
Oh, wow.
That's very special.
That's pretty cool.
That could be now. That's probably like a gold. There's probably gold flakes in that stamp.
I mean, that looks
Yeah.
unbelievable.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
The seal of the President of the United States.
Yeah, that's nice, man. That's nice. It really
That's
is.
a nice piece.
Super nice piece.
Would you
Super
rather
nice
that or the
piece.
pen?
Oh, the pen. for sure.
Yeah, the pen. But that's really nice too.
It is very nice. It's a nice piece. Joe, anything to say about Bronny before we get out of here?
It's a joke, man. The guy couldn't do anything on the collegiate level, so now he's going to play professional basketball at the highest level. I mean, it is, what Mikey said is true. It's got to be some kind of play, where they're going to develop him and keep him. And LeBron's also referenced that he's getting older and he doesn't have much time left in the league now. Who knows what his plans are. He wants to buy an NBA franchise. He's talked about that and be an owner. So maybe this is the one real opportunity where, potentially he can play with his son, like Mikey said. So he wants to have that chance, even if, Bronny's not going to get a lot of playing time. It's just going to be sitting there with his dad on the bench. I don't know. If you're asking me what the best development for this young man is going to be, would be for him to keep playing college basketball because he didn't exactly thrive there. And you know what? There's so much pressure on this young man. It's the same thing for any top tier, sports athlete, legend. Their son is unfortunately going to have a ton of pressure and a ton of, expectations. Look at Charlie Woods. I mean, if you really wanted to develop him as an athlete, as a professional, you would think LeBron, as his dad would say, just stay in your lane, keep playing.
Yeah, but listen, basketball is one of those sports I feel like at this point in this kid's life, like you would know if he has the sauce or not. Like you would just know. Like I just feel like it's not like all of a sudden he's going to go to the NBA and a light bulb's going to turn on. He's going to become a great player. Like I don't. I'm sure there are guys that have come out of college, lower draft picks, like not that low, but lower draft picks that have developed nicely in the NBA. But like Bronny is not going to come into the league and all of a sudden, like I said, the light bulb's going to go off. You either got it at this point or you don't. That's how I view most of these basketball players. And he ain't got it. He ain't got it.
I mean, I think it's too early. I think it's too early to say whether he's got it. Or, I mean, like
these kids in high school are ready to go to the draft, Joe. Kids out of high school.
I don't think
I couldn't average fucking 10 points at USC.
It was a terrible program.
Dude, then go somewhere else, bro. Like he should. Why didn't he go to Ohio State? His dad was adamant about the fact I would have went to Ohio State. Ohio State's his team openly.
His dad lives in LA.
Well, because he wants to stay in LA for sure.
Staying with his dad.
You know what? Yeah, well, it didn't work out well.
Listen, some people want to have their cake and eat it too, and it doesn't always work out.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Also, I'd argue in a worse program, that's where you should shine even more. He should have taken advantage of the rest of the team. Isn't that good?
Point, Tick.
He should be putting up 30.
It's a good point, Tick.
I don't know. I don't
Yeah.
know. Maybe the team is so bad that it's a detriment. I don't know.
Sure.
I don't know.
Could be.
I don't know. I'm not going to pretend I'm a
Yeah.
USC basketball expert because they stink, and so does Bronny. So,
But if
that's
they
it.
were
And
better,
then-
you would be the USC expert.
no,
Yeah.
no,
Okay.
no.
Fair enough.
no. Not a West Coast team guy, really. Too much. Except the Las
No.
Vegas Golden Knights. Love them.
Of
Oh,
course.
big
As we
supporter.
all do.
Love them.
Yeah, it seems pretty obvious that it's about them playing together. I mean, that seems like the only thing that it really is. Gentlemen, great episode. Mark Stone, thank you for coming on the program.
Sure,
That was a lot of
absolutely.
fun. I would like to hear back from the viewers. I hope you guys got something out of it. I hope you enjoyed it. And like Joe said last time, I think this is something we want to keep doing. We want to keep having guests on, and so just let us know if you like the format. And yeah, gentlemen, another good one.
Yeah, this was fun. I personally enjoy the episodes. I mean, we've only done 2 of them where we do the interviews. I think it's we have a good cadence in the sense that we keep it light. We're asking about toilet paper from the I mean, I'm pretty sure
That's a very, very important question.
I'm saying I'm sure when he got on the interview today, the last thing that he was thinking about was asking about the napkins in the bathroom. But that being said, I think it makes for a good lighthearted interview.
Good question.
Both athletes we've had on now seem to have had a great time. And, we, like Ticket said, we want to know, like, if you guys enjoy this. I think it brings a different dynamic to the show and it's fun. So I enjoy doing it. I think we got to keep doing it. I think we could get some good guests on here too.
Absolutely.
I would agree. All right, that's going to do it for another episode of The Sportsman. Gentlemen, as always, that's Mikey V. That's
This is
Joey
not
D.
a White House napkin.
No, it's not. No, it's not. It's trash is what it is.
Yeah, it is.
Joey D, Mikey V, myself, the Big Ticket. We will see you guys next week.